Let's go ahead and get things started. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ken. I'm the head of technology here at Fairygodboss. We are the largest career community for women. Our mission is to help women achieve their career goals. We offer a variety of free resources like anonymous company reviews, career advice articles, virtual recruiting events, and more to help you succeed throughout your career. We're thrilled to have you all join us for today's event, From Mars to Machine Economy, Innovating for the Future with Wind River. But first, before we get started, let's take care of a few housekeeping items. Today's discussion will be recorded and shared via email following the event, pretty typical. During the discussion, please use the chat function, which we just mentioned above, to send messages and comments. And we'll leave time at the end for targeted questions, but anytime during the discussion, just feel free to drop some messages in the chat. You can do this also anonymously. And we'll address these questions as they come up, and we'll also leave time at the end for questions as well. So good stuff. Okay, so we got that out the way. And I'm excited to kick off today's event. I'll give you a description of Wind River and the services. Wind River's software is accelerating digital transformation of critical infrastructure systems that demand the highest level of safety, security, performance, and reliability. Wind River powers intelligent, connected products that enrich the quality, safety, and security of people's lives every day. From being the technology foundation for self-driving cars, life-saving medical devices, to environmentally sustainable energy. Certainly a bit of a common theme there. Good stuff. I'd like to welcome our panelists from Wind River. We have our Chief People Officer, Therese Lamb, and Vice President of Engineering Excellence, Stephanie Moskrip. Awesome title there, Stephanie. Good company here, who will talk to us about Wind River's inspiring history and where the innovative company is headed next, and also how you can make a unique impact on the world's digital transformation. So thank you so much, Therese and Stephanie, for joining us today. Let's get this conversation started by asking you both to introduce yourself. Maybe Stephanie, you could pick that up first, starting with the amount of time you've been at Wind River, your role, take it from the top, 30,000 foot.
Hi, so my name is Stephanie Moskrip. I'm the VP of Engineering Excellence, which is another way of saying engineering operations within Wind River. And I also lead the open source OS engineering team. I've been with Wind River just over 14 years.
Awesome. Cool, good stuff. And Therese?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Therese Lamb. I'm the Chief People Officer at Wind River, and I have been with the company since January 2019, just after we split out from Intel. So we're now owned by a private equity company, TPG, and we've been going through a lot of transformation, exciting transformation. So excited to be here. Thank you, Ken.
Good stuff. And since you have the mic in your hand right now, Therese, you might as well tell us what your career journey has looked like so far. Love to hear that.
Yeah, so as you can tell from my accent, or maybe you can't, I'm not British, but I'm actually Australian. I was born in Vietnam, but I migrated to Australia when I was about 2 years old. So I grew up and started my career in Australia in HR. So I graduated with a Bachelor of Business HR degree. And for the first 10 years, I worked in different industries, mainly heavy engineering, industrial sort of companies. And I was fortunate enough to work for a French company, Alstom, international company that builds trains and power stations and grids. And that was, I would guess, the transformational roles that I've been, where I've been given the opportunity to move abroad. And I spent some time in Singapore leading HR there. And then before moving to London and then Paris for a couple of years in different headquarter roles before moving to the US. And I've been here since 2014 for various companies. GE bought Alstom, for example. So I was with GE for a while before landing a role in software with AppDynamics and now Wind River. So I've been very, very fortunate, I would say, in my career.
Wow, that's awesome. Living vicariously through you right now. Bit of a globe setter. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I'm sure. And Stephanie?
I didn't realize Therese had been in so many places. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
So for me, I started with a degree in electrical engineering, computer option. My first job was with an embedded software, as an embedded software developer, developing software and firmware for optical modules for a company called JDS Uniphase. We did lots of assembly code in those days. I evolved from there into managing teams developing optical modules, with the teams being a mix of mechanical, electrical, software engineers. Along the way, I found I had an aptitude for project management. So I transitioned to run the project management team at JDSU, working on projects both in engineering and in manufacturing. After the birth of my kids, I decided it was time for a change. I'd been at JDS for 13 years, so I moved to Wind River as an engineering program manager. We're starting with the Linux project. I ended up working with a variety of teams over time. Eventually, I became the program director for our IoT product. After a few years, or actually a few years ago, I took on the role of leading our Linux development team, which was an exciting but fruitful challenge for me. And now I've got a mix of responsibilities. I continue to lead the Linux team, and I'm also, as mentioned, leading the engineering excellence activities within engineering.
That's very impressive. We can trade war stories for days with some of that stuff. That's really, really, really good to hear. Okay, so let's jump into a little bit about Wind River itself, maybe the history, the product evolution, digital transformation, automation, what have you. We'd love to hear a little bit about that history. So let's start with you, Stephanie.
Sure. So Wind River's been around for quite a while. We've been around for 40 years. In our initial phase, we were focused primarily on our RTOS offering, VxWorks. And that's part of the reason for the event title. We build for mission critical initiatives, those moments where failure is just not an option. It's life or death, literally, in some cases. Over time, we added a Linux offering, a cloud-based platform, simulation, and virtualization offerings. Now we're seeing an opportunity to continue growing our scope by enabling development and deployment at the intelligent edge with our latest offering, Wind River Studio.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Teresa, I'm not sure if you wanted to add a little bit more to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is, yeah, when you think about Wind River, when you Google Wind River, you come up with all sorts of, a clothing store, a movie. Actually, I heard recently that they're coming up with a movie. So we are none of that. We are a software company, and you don't hear of Wind River often. Only those in the embedded space really know about Wind River, because you don't want to know about Wind River, because we power over 2 billion devices, and a lot of them are mission critical. So, the planes, you don't want falling off, out from the air, right? You don't want to know, hey, it's on Wind River operating system. So that's the reason why you don't really hear about Wind River, and it's very silent, because we are working on the branding, of course, around Wind River, and really putting ourselves out there because of the evolution now from real-time operating system to intelligent systems. And we want to be known now, right? Before we didn't, for those obvious reasons I mentioned, but we definitely want to be known because the future is machine economy, right? The future is going to be powered by machines, and very powerful AI enabled machines. So we're building out a platform that allows our companies and customers to help them to evolve into more of an intelligent systems company as well. So it's a very exciting time to be part of Wind River.
That's awesome. I guess as a engineering lead myself, we have the luxury of saying, at least on my side of things, hey, we're not saving lives here, guys, but you guys actually are. So right. This is really, really awesome to hear. Can you tell us a little bit about River Studio? Stephanie, you mentioned that, so let's dive into that a bit.
Sure. So Studio was conceptualized from the knowledge that in a recent survey we did, that 8 of 10 leaders want intelligent systems success within the next 5 years. We see an opportunity to work closely with companies who are looking to capitalize on the best practices to develop intelligent systems with a focus on the edge. There's 13 key characteristics that we identified that drive intelligent systems, some of them being things like customizing the device experience in the cloud, enabling digital feedback loops to influence product development, total automation. And of course, there's a driving need to be able to develop those intelligent systems in fully integrated DevOps environments where it's critical for speed of development. So Wind River Studio is basically bringing all that together to be the first cloud native platform for the development, deployment, operations, and servicing of mission critical intelligence systems. Those situations where, you know, the technology just can't fail.
Wow, awesome. And Therese, if you have some,
I just want to add, because you're probably thinking, I don't know, some of the participants know much about intelligent systems. So I'll give you an example. You know, we talk a lot about helping companies to Teslafy, right? So, of course, you've read a lot about Tesla recently, and you know, the phenomenal valuation that they're coming out with. So think about Tesla and what they're doing, right, to really solve some real customer outcomes. And they have, you know, updating their cars, for example, over the air at the edge. To include new functionalities, right? So you think about our mobile phone, right? And we're getting like the Apple iPhones, you know, we're getting updates on a regular basis. That's what Tesla's doing with their cars, right? And then using data to track and further optimize, you know, autopiloting for their new and existing cars as well. So think of what we're doing as Teslafying every industry.
Really good stuff. And you also had mentioned, Stephanie, that this is a cloud native solution. Is this on all three platforms? Is it agnostic?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Is it platform agnostic? You mentioned it was cloud native. Any Amazon, AWS, GCP?
Yeah, it's intended to work in AWS or Azure, but we're also looking at, you know, having on-prem solutions for this product where, so we cover all the bases.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We intended it to be cloud native, and we have our own cloud solution. But you know, and this is the beauty of you know, producing or coming up with a new product is you go out there and you have to talk to your customers, of course, right? And so the feedback we're getting from a lot of customers is they want variations, right? Azure on their own AWS and as well as on-prem. So we've had to evolve, you know, our solution from the very beginning, and it will be in continual iterative operations that we're running. We're what about a year now, Stephanie, through Wind River Studio with the new
just product? Over a year since we first GA'd, and not much longer than that since we started working on it. So
wow, pretty good stuff. Awesome. So what would you say in terms of the projects that you're working on, Stephanie, are the most exciting at the moment?
Well, I mean, excitement is what makes me, you know, is personal, right? So for me, there's a lot of projects I'm working on that are exciting me. On our Linux product, we have a lot of exciting initiatives around making our Yocto-based product easier to use, including a new binary distribution and some new innovative tooling we've come out with to really simplify the on-ramping and reduce build times. But I'm also heavily involved with the Studio product, which, as you can see, it's really enabling the future of edge development. So that in itself is very exciting, and it's a new direction for the company. As part of my engineering excellence role, I'm working with other key members of our engineering leadership team to drive our own agile and DevOps practices to the next level, and to drive that knowledge and input into our Studio product. Lots going on.
Yeah, it sounds like, and I actually heard both of you in separate instances mention edge technology. Are you speaking to actually the edge as in CDN or another aspect?
We're looking at the far edge, so into the devices, right, where you have edge, you know, computing going on at the device level, at the server level, at the edge, and all of that data and information is feeding back into the cloud to form that bigger picture.
Stuff. Awesome. So as we know, technology is constantly evolving. It sounds like at Wind River and in the world, you know, holistically, and you're helping advance and and enhance people's everyday lives, which is awesome. In terms of the product's evolution, what do you think is next? And this can go for you, Stephanie.
Sure. So we've mentioned a couple of times, right? Intelligent system is really the cornerstone of what we're building on. We're seeing that only about 16% of our organizations are building from the right blueprint. So we're working with the clients to help us learn, help them learn, and navigate to position them for success. As as we evolve, this Wind River Studio is just a natural progression from our roots and our work in the RTOS mission critical systems, in our view, anyways.
Got it. Good stuff. In terms of your clients, your current roster of clients, can you share maybe an example or two of folks that find your services useful? Give us a little perspective on some use cases, maybe.
Sure. We're really in all the industries. We are in planes, we're in transportation, we are in medical devices, we are in industrial applications, we're in military, where our products are used in military, 5G. We are deployed our WRCP products, our Linux products, and our studio will be part of the 5G rollout. So we're really across the board in all industries, and we have customers in all of those places.
I think of Boeing, in the A&D, aerospace and defense, like Lockheed Martin, Collins. Think of, Verizon. We've worked with them, and there's a whole, PR around our partnership with Verizon, helping them deploy 5G at the edge. So yeah, we work with really a lot of big customers, but also small companies as well, globally. So it's a very exciting time, and we're getting great feedback from our customers on our next evolution of our product, right, with Wind River Studio. Now they can build and deploy their operating systems on our platform now versus using their own tool chain. So I think the evolution of our new products is going to be, how to leverage data and move towards, providing intelligence around those data as well for our customers, to make decisions and business decisions and operational decisions.
Good stuff. Thanks, Therese. And that sort of is a good segue into the next question I have for you guys is, in terms of evolving that product and staying competitive, can you share some context on that? There's SaaS platforms popping up all over the place. So maybe give us a little bit of background on that. Stephanie, you can kick that off.
Sure. So I mentioned some of the external factors, but within Wind River, we are constantly trying to enhance that innovative spirit within the team, so that we can come up to speed and keep up to speed with the latest and greatest and stay competitive. So some of the things that we do, we have regular technical symposiums where the Wind River employees come together to solve problems, either in a team format or an individual format. We do those on rotating time zones. And the last few events, we've seen people in places like Romania and Costa Rica folks winning these events. So it's a very global event that we have, and it's a really good opportunity for engineering to flex our brain muscles and take on new activities. We also do a yearly coding camp challenge where developers compete to produce the most innovative ideas and demo them. And then, we have a yearly prize for bragging rights. And that's, people across Wind River, whether they're in engineering or maybe in our sales or in any part of the company, are able to join those and really challenge themselves to keep their skills up to date and look for the next great thing that we could do at Wind River.
Awesome. I'd love to participate. Send me an invite. It's full of thoughts. Therese?
Yeah, look, the only thing I would add is a couple of things. So COVID has really accelerated digital transformation across all industries, right? And so what you see is a huge need for these companies to leverage, different solutions out there that will help to accelerate their digital transformation, both internally but also externally with their products, right? And so we are really well positioned because of our heritage, our 40-year heritage. And I would say that I'm really inspired by the new vision and mission that we've come up with. Our new CEO, actually, our CEO is one of very few Black CEOs, and very inspirational as well. And he came in last year, and we've been working on our vision and mission and executing on that over the last year. And, one of the things that is really critical to help us transform and continue to be innovative is this growth culture, this notion of, culture where we're continuously learning versus know-it-all, right? We've got people in the company, Stephanie, 14 years, but we've got people in the company 30 years, wow. Right? And so, 30, 25 years, because they just love the people that they're working with, the product and the impact that they have, right, in people's lives. But what is really important for us is driving and moving away from a culture where, it was very conservative, right, because of our heritage, into much more of a learning, fail fast culture. Right. And so I've been working over the last few years, and will continue with the leaders and also, of course, employees, is really driving that growth culture, because that's going to be pinnacle for us to drive this innovation and learning culture. So, very excited about that. Good
stuff. Good. Growth always presents some really exciting challenges. So, happy to hear that. In the world of digitization, what do you think is the next big push, Stephanie?
For me, I think we're moving to a fully digital world, that paper is going to become a thing of the past, maybe even including paper money. But all that move to an all digital world comes with new risks. And I think there's going to be a drive for unique and optimum ways to secure data. I think that's going to be one of the most critical things where we hopefully see advancements, is in the securing of all of that digital data. I also see a period in the world where we're using all that data that we are now generating to optimize our lives, optimize everything from food production to medical care, to look at, and hopefully to look at better ways to help our planet and help the people who are living in it. So not just using the data locally, but using it on a global scale to drive change.
Awesome stuff. When you mentioned leveraging that data, is that are your thoughts from an ML perspective or just data in general?
Yeah, so I think as we are getting into edge compute, as we are collecting data at the edge and using AI and ML both at the edge and then at the cloud at a bigger level or a wider scope, we're going to be collecting an incredible amount of data. And I'm excited to see what we can do with that to really change things.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Therese, I'm not sure if you wanted to add some more to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, from a HR perspective, what I would say is that, and I'm sure the listeners as well, and participants on this call have seen a lot of articles out there about shortage of labor, particularly in the software, right, where we're not pumping up enough computer science degree students, right, to be able to fill the roles, the amounts of roles that we have, not just in the US, but globally. So I think the next wave we're going to see, and I think we're already seeing some of new startups coming out where they're looking at how to automate sort of work, right? I even read an article of a startup that's looking at, hey, if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, use our software, and you don't need to have to build your product, right? To build your software product without having any sort of coding experience. I think that the next evolution is going to be around how to do some of the tasks that software engineers do and automate that, because we just have a shortage of people and talent out there.
Absolutely. I need to say, by example, if you look at some of the stuff that the cloud providers are doing now, even the ML is prepackaged services now. So to your point, yes, we're certainly getting closer to that. It is an exciting time to be an engineer. And it's unfortunate that supply is what ails all of us today in every facet of our lives. So I certainly get that there. Thanks for the description, Therese. In terms of women, and in particular, and more broadly in terms of diversity and the challenging the status quo, where do you see women and the role that they would play in that for a better world, or holistically? Therese?
Yeah, I think that now it's never been a better time than now for women to really make an impact, right? There have been, a number of different events during COVID, right, or leading up to COVID even, that has led to much more of an emphasis on D&I, diversity and inclusion across all industries, across all companies. I sit on a lot of CHRO roundtables and discussions, and D&I always pops up as a priority. And not to say that it wasn't before, it definitely was, but it's amplified, right? It's amplified. I'm part of Chief, which is a network of executive leaders that I think they've been around for a few years, but they've seen an explosion of requests and nominations to participate in Chief that they can't even receive all of the applications, right, throughout their platforms globally, or in the US, and now they're looking at globally as well. So you see a lot of new figures right out there around environmental activists as well, that are women. I was doing a search recently because we're working on a CSR strategy, and one of the articles that I read, 8 out of 10, the top 10 nominees that they had, a National Parks Conservation Association was nominating, top 10 environmental activists, and 8 of them were actually women. Young women. So Greta Thunberg is one, that comes to mind as well, who's, very vocal out there. In New Zealand, very close to my home, the Prime Minister, what's her name? Jacinda Ardern. I mean, she's phenomenal in her approach and response to COVID as well. And she's, a lot of other companies like Australia even have been looking to the response and the structure that she's put around the COVID response and the safety that she's made as, priority for the people there in New Zealand. So I think we're seeing a lot more of women coming out there. I mean, even for myself, when I started with Wind River, I was the only female on the executive leadership team. And then we have Kevin, and now we have 3 additional people, 3 additional women, so almost 50%. But yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal to see so much action out there, and statuses that women are really leading from the front now, and seeing the coverage of these women as well is just very inspirational.
Yeah, definitely. That's very insightful there, Therese. Thanks a lot for that. Stephanie?
Yeah, I think we're seeing women challenge the status quo in all industries, in all areas of the world. You look at especially younger women. So you look at people like Greta Thunberg for challenging being a climate activist. You look at Malala challenging the world in different places. It's wonderful to see. Specifically in tech and engineering, though, I'm seeing more women finding their own path, contributing their own unique voice and perspectives, and driving a different way of doing things within STEM. It's wonderful to see women pursue their passion and then make such a change in the world around them.
Awesome. Good stuff. So in terms of, complacency, obviously, things can become pretty business as usual over time. And as far as the next step in evolution and this inclusive narrative, how do you avoid becoming complacent?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Ken. And at Wind River, we could have been complacent, because engagement surveys that we do each year time and time again, more than 90% of our population, of our employees, assert that we're an inclusive company, right? We have an inclusive culture. And so I can say, yeah, my work is done, right? I don't need to do any more work around, diversity and inclusion. But no, it's not about that. It's about how do we take that to the next level, right? We've got a great diversity of people across the globe, right? Coming from different backgrounds, coming from different experiences. To us, diversity is not about just the attributes, but everyone is diverse, right? So we start there. And then we think about, okay, if we want to drive a innovative culture, how do we leverage the power of all the different experiences, the different perspectives, the different thoughts, right? Diversity of thought into and incorporate that into our innovation cycle. So for us, the evolution of inclusivity at our company is how to embrace, cross-team collaboration, diversity of thought, diversity of perspectives.
Great stuff. Really good stuff there. Stephanie, I'm not sure if you wanted to close that out there.
Just that we can't be complacent, and we need to keep driving forward until we get to a place where, a person's success is not viewed as being because I'm a woman, or despite being a woman, or because of their gender, ethnicity, or sexual orientation, or despite it. When we can get to the place where diversity happens naturally, then we can sit back on our laurels. But for now, we need to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is all starting to speak to the culture in general, but I am interested about the culture at Wind River. So maybe Therese, you can give us a little bit more background on that.
Yeah. Well, look, our culture has really evolved over the last 3 years, and Stephanie, you can talk more to sort of like the evolution that you're seeing. But certainly from my perspective, when I started, we were much more conservative. As I mentioned, we weren't bold in our approach because, I think it's got to do a lot with our product as well, right? We have to provide a product that is safe, secure, mission critical product. So we can't make these bold, moves around our product. But certainly, with our new vision and mission, we need to be, right? We need to be known out there as thought leaders, right, in the space that we are in. So our culture is one of driving and evolving towards a growth culture that is, as I mentioned, growth mindset is pinnacle for us in terms of embracing that mindset of growth versus a fixed mindset, embracing being customer focused. And when I talk about customer focused, it's really about understanding, exploring with our customers what their problems are and how to help solve them, versus what we were before, where we would say, here's VX Works, how many licenses would you want, right? So it's really about that new evolution of helping, partnering with our customers to be much more problem solving with them, and then diversity inclusion, as I mentioned, really about embracing different different diversity of thoughts and perspectives. So I'd say that those are the 3 cultural attributes that we've been really driving over the last few years and making great progress. But we're not finished yet.
Absolutely. No, and it sounds like you guys are really just getting started. So really exciting stuff. In terms of risk, I guess the nature of your business may prevent or cause you to be risk averse. I'm not sure how that fits into the culture, but maybe just give us a little bit more background on that.
Yeah, so conservative, equals risk averse, right? So when I went around the world to do these workshops, time and time again, I would hear from everyone saying that we're very risk averse, right? We're very conservative in our approach, and we need to be for certain things, of course, right? With our safe, secure, reliable product, OS product, but certainly with the new Wind River Studio, we need to be less risk averse. Our sales need not to be risk averse. And they were before too, but now we're being bold. We're taking bold moves. We're taking bolder moves in terms of business decisions as well. So where it makes sense, yes, we have to be risk averse. We have to be cautious. We're approaching, for example, return to office very cautiously as well, right? We're not saying we want to lead here. No. We want to actually follow what other companies are doing, because you see it like LinkedIn, right? That they would announce, okay, we're returning to office. Oh, no, we're not. We return to the office. Oh, no, not. Now we're all digital first, right? So here is where, I would much prefer, because the safety of our employees is paramount for us. So yeah, there's that balance between being risk averse, being very bold in different situations, different business situations.
Absolutely. Great answer there, Therese. Stephanie, you have some stuff to add to that as well?
Yeah, we're bold in the terms of the ideas we're generating and the directions we're heading. But as Therese said, we know how to deliver safety critical products and where you can't cut the corners. Wind River overall is a great place to work. We have a wonderful group of people who really pulled together to get things done. Yet we challenge each other to continuously improve. It's the reason why I've stayed here for 14 years.
Awesome. And I thought 5 years at one place was a lifetime. That's about 2 or 3 of them. Congrats to you. Longevity, love it. So you're speaking about your favorite things to work at, reasons to stay there. You would know, Stephanie. So maybe you could share a bit about that. What would you say are a couple of your favorite reasons for working at Wind River and staying there the amount of time that you have?
Sure. I mean, I really enjoy the fact that our products are used in so many industries and in so many mission critical environments. You realize how important your work is when you realize your software is being used to explore Mars. It might be running in the plane you're currently sitting in. It might be in the medical devices your friends and family are using. The work we're doing makes a difference to people's lives. And now that we're driving to the development of the intelligent edge, it's really exciting knowing the impact that our products are going to have in the future and how they might contribute to the future. So I really enjoy that. And, as a woman, it's just a very supportive, inclusive place to work. And you just feel comfortable.
Awesome. Really good to hear. And Therese?
Yeah, I mean, many things I love, and different projects that I'm working on that really excites me. I mean, the return to office and this new hybrid model that we unveiled a year ago, that we've been able to really work with our Chinese colleagues in relation to providing a much more of a hybrid, flexible workforce that really the leaders couldn't get their head around, before COVID, in terms of a much more flexible, work from home, work in the office mentality. But after, almost 2 years now, right, working from home, there's much more of an acceptance and respect for that. So I'm really excited about rolling that out more broadly in the coming year. Growth culture. I mean, that's what really excites me is really making a difference in our own employees' lives. We now have a Grow Bootcamp that we developed internally and we piloted, and we're seeing, the feedback that we're getting from so many participants, and we have 250 already going through it, is the impact that it's having on them personally as well, because it's about, their own mindset and growth mindset, as well as professionally. So these are a couple of things that, I'm really excited to work on, but just the overall empowerment. Like, I feel very empowered at Wind River with my CEO and the leadership team to be very creative, right? Be very creative in the way that we approach things, be agile as well. Okay, we experiment, doesn't go so well. Okay, let's see how we can do better next time. It's this culture of, fail fast, right? Of experimenting and getting on with it, rather than, being very cautious and, if I get in trouble. It's not like that at all. So yeah, I just love the overall climate, environment that we're working in.
Good stuff. Follow the data, of course. Definitely sounds good. In terms of your career, both of you have been there for some time, and I'm sure you've both grown in your roles. It sounds like you've already spoken to that a bit. How has that been supported by Wind River?
I've always felt very supported at Wind River through all my years here. One of the things I really like is that Wind River encourages people not to get pigeonholed in a particular area. So there's opportunity and you're encouraged to explore different roles, moving laterally as well as vertically. So you can really find out where you can make the most impact, where your strengths are, and, you know, experiment a little bit to find out the best place for you. So I really appreciated that at Wind River.
Awesome. Good stuff. Sounds like a certain degree of flexibility that's certainly appreciated. And Therese?
Yeah, it's, you know, I mentioned before the empowerment, right? Because empowerment comes with, you know, flexibility. It comes with, you know, feeling that, you know, you can do it's all up to you, right? It's all in your hands. And so I make sure that, you know, my team at least feel empowered, and we talk about at the leadership team with the senior leaders as well, feel empowered, right? In terms of the decisions you make, in terms of the ideas that you have. And so what I feel very supported is just the empowerment. Very much I feel empowered in the flexibility that I have personally, but what we also try to emulate across the board.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So in terms of the benefits that one could expect if they were to join, so what are some of the benefits that women in particular could expect if they were to join Wind River? And also, have you taken advantage of any of them yourself personally?
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, you can take that first.
Yeah. So I think the flexibility, right? I think the one biggest benefit that women probably want is the you know, flexibility. You know, a lot of us have families, right, and kids. And to be able to balance between, hey, I need some downtime here, you know, to pick up my kid from school or to go to their concert or whatever it is versus, you know, being work. I think that flexibility really helps. And certainly, you know, with a new hybrid working model, it allows for even more flexibility in terms of the person individuals choosing when they want to be in the office, right, to collaborate. We're saying, hey, we want everyone to be in the office when needed to collaborate, because we believe that certain activities like collaboration or ideation is better in the office. And then the rest, you choose, you know, whether you want to be in the office or at home, because some people have said, no, I want to be in the office 5 days a week because I can't work from home, right? And others are saying, well, no, I want to be able to work from home because I've got young kids. So, you know, it really is that flexibility and that choice that we're giving to our employees. I would say that is one of the biggest benefits. I mean, other benefits that other companies have, you know, like paid leave, maternity leave, all of that. But I would say the flexibility is one of the biggest ones.
Awesome. Would you say that the hybrid model has had a positive or a negative impact, or is it net neutral?
Oh, no, positive. Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, very much. I mean, you know, I mean, at the moment, we're all working from home, right? We're starting to bring people back into the office on a voluntary basis in the US. But in China, you know, before COVID, we were probably about 4 to 5 days a week in the office. But in China, we implemented the hybrid model there because they were already back at work in the office 5 days a week from May last year. If you can recall, you know, they quickly got the visa back. And so we implemented this, and they love it, you know, especially the women, and the feedback that we got from our employees about the flexibility for them to be able to, you know, to work when they wanted to at home. And he saved them like 3 hours a day in some cases. Yeah.
Definitely. I think we can all empathize with that. We're certainly feeling some of the positive impacts. So good stuff. Right. And Stephanie, in terms of the benefits women can expect if they were to join Wind River.
So I think Therese called out a lot of the good ones, but one that I really like is the 2 paid days for volunteering. Whether it's volunteering in the community or at my kids' school, it's a really good opportunity for me to give back and not have to worry about where the time's coming from. So that's one of my favorite benefits at Wind River.
That's a good one too.
Okay, we're going to increase that to 5 days, so we haven't actually posted.
Oh wow, awesome!
Yeah.
Gets better. Yeah. Good stuff. Getting better by the moment, right? Awesome. In terms of advice, women who may, or even just in general, if someone is interested in a career with Wind River, maybe any advice that you can offer, Therese?
Yeah, what I would say is, you know, look us up. if you like what you hear about Wind River, our mission, right, in the impact that you will have in the type of work that you will do here at Wind River, then please, we have roles available that is on our website, or even reach out to me. I would love to chat to anyone and provide any sort of advice, personalized advice at all. But get grounded on. I would say, our mission and what we're about, and our culture. If you liked to hear about our growth culture, the empowerment that we're given, the flexibility, then I would say, reach out to us, because we would love to have more women, especially in engineering. I've said that to Stephanie as well, across the board. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And Stephanie, any advice?
Yeah, just adding to what Therese said, check out our products, right? See what it is, and bring your passion. That's what we like, passion.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, getting close, and I want to make sure we leave some time for folks to ask a couple of questions. So just a couple more here. Something you think about, what do you think most people, with their view of Wind River, and what do you think they should know about Wind River? You started off by mentioning most folks haven't heard about Wind River, and that's probably by design or an ideal outcome. But what would you like folks to know about Wind River that maybe you have not mentioned yet today? Stephanie?
So I think, those that do know of us, as Therese mentioned before, sometimes think of us as being very, very risk averse. But in reality, at Wind River, change is the only constant. I was saying that to someone the other day. The company is always looking to the future and adapting to the needs of the world around us, and looking at new product offerings and enabling the future. So it's a fun and challenging environment to work in.
Very good. And Therese?
Yeah, we're not just about embedded operating system that powers the Mars rover. That's why we was Mars. Yes, I just had to put that in there. I don't think we actually talked about that, but the Mars rover, is running on our operating system. So we're not just about that, right? We're really about how to help other companies realize their digital future, right? Their intelligent future. And, you can move in so many different areas, especially if you are coming from engineering, from cloud to DevOps to test automation to VNV to AI ML, right? Well, we have so many different departments. Before, we only had what was VxWorks, Linux, a little bit of cloud, until really we were able to secure that project with Verizon. Now it's much more broader team, and we keep on adding, right, to the engineering. Now we have UI UX. We actually, yes, that's right. We acquired a UI UX company, so we keep adding to our capabilities and to the expertise that we have in engineering. So what I would say, it's very diversified, right, in terms of the expertise that we provide.
Good stuff.
And the areas that people can get involved in. Yeah,
absolutely. You had me at Mars rover. I'm still trying to make it past that. So I just wanted to give the audience some time to pose a couple of questions if they had any. Let's see if we have any popping up. We'll wait a couple of minutes, and if not, we'll move on to a lightning round with you guys to close up with a couple of final questions. But I do have one. Sorry, I'm going back to the rover. Are you guys actually involved in the actual trajectory and landing, or what happens once it's on Mars and then and from that point on?
We're the underlying OS on the Mars rover. So once it lands and has to start steering itself and stuff, that's all our OS. And in fact, if you've read the book, The Martian, or seen the movie, there's a reference to our VxWorks product in the book.
Wow. Wow. Good. True rocket scientists, right? That's awesome stuff, guys.
So Stephanie, this is our third time to Mars, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, third time to Mars, yeah.
We've had a bunch of rovers, right? I think there's been about 5 missions maybe, yeah. And you have some that was supposed to expire years ago, and they're still active, right? It's pretty amazing. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right, we can jump into, I don't think I see any questions there. I think we're good with that. Oh, Brooklyn. I'm sorry, I'm from Brooklyn and I missed someone from Brooklyn. So just shouting you back out yourself. Good stuff. Okay. Let's launch into some final questions here that I jotted down earlier. So I'm just going to read these. If there's one thing you want people to remember as a result of our conversation here today, whether about technology, the future of work, or working at Wind River, what would it be? Let's start with you, Therese.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, feeling if you like the mission, right, what we just talked about, want to feel empowered in a very flexible environment. That's what I would say for you to take away.
And Stephanie?
I think just the breadth of our product and how much opportunity there is at Wind River.
Okay. And at Fairygodboss, we have a tradition. We have seen that women do not feel comfortable enough bragging or taking ownership of all the amazing things that they achieve. Some men have no problem doing that, by the way. Would you be willing to role model and brag for us about your accomplishments, personally or professionally? Stephanie, I'll hit you with that one first.
So I got to admit, this one was challenging for me. But for me, things I'm very proud of. I am proud of my family. I am proud of my accomplishments professionally of making it to the VP level within engineering. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of a few years ago, I challenged myself to do a Olympic triathlon, and for doing that. And those are the things I'm proud of.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Therese, you set the bar kind of high there, but let's go for it.
No, it's definitely with my fight. Okay, so those who know me, bragging is not something that is foreign to me. I would start with my beautiful son. He's finishing grade 10, so I'm very proud of him, and he's been actually around the world with me as well since he was 4 years old. So, I'm very proud of the resilience that he's shown, and the support as well to me. So yeah, just love him to bits. And also, I would say I've been very fortunate and survived living in 5 different countries over the last 10 years. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of being able to live in so many different countries and, understanding the different cultures as well, right? Across all of I haven't been to some of the continents in the world, but I've been to a lot, and I've learned a lot about just personal growth and as well as professional as well.
Awesome. That global view is are you multilingual, your son as well?
Yeah, so Vietnamese and English only, and yeah.
Hey, one more than I have, so good stuff. So lastly, what piece of advice would you give your younger self? Next we can dive into that. I know I haven't been my younger self for quite some time, so I'm not sure I lost contact with him, but I'd love to hear your feedback on that.
Sure. So for me, my advice would be follow your own path, figure out your own strengths. There are different ways to success, and you need to find out the right one for you. Don't try and emulate someone else's path if it's not the right one for you.
Awesome. Really good. Awesome. And Therese?
I would say to my younger self would be live in the moment, be present in the moment, to live in the moment, rather than just worrying about the future and worrying about, okay, what's it going to look like in 5 years and 10 years, right? Just really enjoy living in the moment, because you can miss a lot of things if you don't live in the moment. So that's probably one of my biggest advice I would give to my younger self.
Awesome. I'm taking notes on both of those, by the way. So really good stuff. And thank you both so much for your time. I know it was a ton of questions. I found it extremely insightful. I'm sure our audience did as well. And it's really been a fantastic session. So